So on this morning hike, what can we talk about? What can we have as a introspective wink wink admin wink wink admin introspective topic that is relevant to our people? Okay, so continuing this Africa health series, what causes weight gain? I can only speak as an authority on my part. I can only speak as an authority. What causes weight gain and how to reverse that condition? How to reverse that condition? So this is the topic for today's Wakawaka. What causes weight gain, and how does a layman like you or me, how do we reverse it? So I should have to step onto the road here because the trees are not too kind. They tend to so speaking of which, bear with me. 6:30. 6:30. That's cutting it close. So let's do 6:40. 20 minutes. Oh, I'm trying to calculate. I'm trying to calculate the time, so that I don't get caught with my pantaloons down. It's not very kosher. It's a bit cantankerous, but so 6:30. If it took us 30 minutes to get here, the thinking is that it will take us 30 minutes to get back. So if I turned around now, it would take me that 30 minutes. So at 6:40 we can turn around, I think. So if it takes me 40 minutes to get back, 40 plus 40 in times of 6:40 plus 40 minutes, that is 7:20. Cutting it close. 6:35. Let's turn around at 6:35. Okay, it's almost there, because we don't want to get caught with our pants down. That young man, Mr. Naruto, he lives at I don't even know if I'll get any good light with this. So let me turn around right now. Let me turn around right now and at least go, and I can continue the hike inside the subdivision where the flats are. Yeah, the Bugos flats, Bukoto flats over there. So
time 25 minutes, distance 1.25 miles, average pace 19 minutes 56 seconds.
That's good. 1.25 miles will give us 1.25 miles will give us 2.5 miles, and then I only have to satisfy 1.5 to make the 4. So what we can do is we can do a loop, keep on going up and down the hill until Mr. Naruto leaves, so that he's able to sort us out with the key, and then that will help us to be able to have access back into the Mzigo, small room where you stay. Anyway, what causes weight gain and how to reduce it? This is the theme of today's episode of this continuing sub-series of Africa health series. So the episode is called Wakawaka Wednesdays, but it's also serving as a subsection of Africa Health Series. So weight gain fundamentally is caused by extra calories that you haven't burnt up. Extra calories that you haven't burnt up. What do I mean by that? So say in my case, I was a person who was very fond of bread. Even as a young man back in the homeland of Mudumba village, where we came from, deep near the lake. So bread was one of my favorite foods. Bread, I was part of this club of people who that they never have one and be okay with that. They just eat a whole bunch of it. So when growing up, me and my friends used to go swimming, and so we only had very limited funds, as all young men have, except of course those who are born with silver spoons, but we had limited funds. We had a choice between, okay, there's only so much, such amount of money, and that money can only be utilized for for one purpose. You either take a taxi to go to the pool and come back with nothing to for a treat, or you can use this money as an incentive to say, let us walk the 7 miles to the pool and back. And so by the time we get back, after having swum for 1 or 2 hours, we are nice and hungry and deserving of our treat, So and don't even assume that we were wealthy enough or anything like that to actually have access to the pool. There is a nice lady there, auntie of my friend.
Time 30 minutes. Distance 1.51 miles.
Yeah,
Average pace 19 minutes 49
So
seconds.
my good friend Mr. MC, you know yourself, thank you. My good lifelong friend, my brother, you know yourself, thank you. And again, congs on the baby, and just nothing but blessings to you and your family. Took us to the town and introduced us to his aunt, who had some influence over this particular pool and was able to secure us permission to swim for free. That's big, that's huge, because when we were growing up, things like swimming pools were not accessible to peasants. You get, you had to be of a certain class, you had to be of a certain thing to actually access these pools, because you had to pay a membership fee. We were poor boys, we didn't have money, you get, and so we had to make do with resourcefulness, you know. We call that okuyiya, you get, which means resourcefulness. You had to be able to finagle legally and honestly, not being one of these thieveries. So you have to be one of those people who can actually finagle, you know, negotiate this, negotiate that, compromise this in a good way, to be able to get to the promised land, as it were, you get. And so the good lady, she gave us a thumbs up, and we were like, we skipped all the way back home, and we well, not exactly, I think we were so excited that first time. Mr. Sweat is all over the place, so I have to wipe down the sweat. so we can appear as if we are normal people. So we were so excited and happy that we walked from the city all the way to the pool, 5-6 miles, and we of course didn't have swim trunks, you know, so very excited. We just came up to the gatekeepers, the Bukukus, Mr. Bukuku, Mr. Bukuku, the gatekeeper, and he's a grumpy old man, very grumpy. He tends to chew your head off, even though you just need some genuine help. It's like so. It's not kosher. And we're like, hey, we got permission from Mrs. So and so, and we're inside, and like, okay, thinking that while we had underneath our pants we had some swim trunks, kumbe nothing. We just had normal underwears, and so we were like 4 of us. One other friend, he was like so excited, he just ripped off his clothes, stayed in his underwear, and he dove in, and he came up, oh, it's nice, come in, the water is so good. And then you see floating next to him is his underwear, and you're like, oh, no. We're not going to suffer the same mishap. Unfortunately, the battery of this gimbal has gone as is. It has gone as is, so we're gonna have to like hold it like this, because there's no choice in the matter. So anyway, we'll continue Otello. Maybe slightly shaky, but bear with me. So we said no. For us, we're not going to suffer the same mishaps. So the rest of us kind of looked around for some accessories to enable us to keep our pantaloons underneath ones, to keep them on. So I was lucky I found some you know, like this you know, these like plastic bands which they used to kind of cover boxes. Somebody went outside and found some banana fibers. Another one, just because his underwears were just a bit loose, he was like, he's going to take his underwears and just pull them even looser and tie a knot in them, and that way they will stay on. So we were able to swim, very uncomfortably, but we were able to swim. So that was the Otello. But back to the main story. The question is, excuse this thing, it's going to be a bit rickety, but let's continue the story. What is weight gain? What causes it? And how to deal with it? So, continuing the story, after these swims, we would walk back home, we would go to the corner store, and we would buy a loaf of bread, and there was some sort of I don't know whether it's considered a vegetable spread or it was margarine or something like that. It's a common one. I just don't want to mention it for the purposes of not giving certain acknowledgements to the company, because this is not a sponsored video, so we don't want to just give acknowledgements when they are not yet due. But all I can say is it used to be a tin can with some sort of margarine, some sort of spread, which was not like regular butter. For popular at home, I'm sure it's still there now, but so we would get that plus our loaf of bread and a nice 1 or 2 pints of milk and go and make chai molago, and boy, If we could afford it, actually, we put on some marmalade or jam, but if we couldn't, we'd just buy sugar and we'll make some nice chai mulago, you get, and enjoy with our bread. And so after that time, I kept on with that habit and that tradition. I kept on with it because for me, bread and tea was my go-to snack. Bread and tea, and I'd not only have like one sandwich, sometimes I'd have two, sometimes I'd have three, you know, sometimes I'd have four, because you're like, I figure if I'm working out, I can eat whatever I want. But that's proportionality is the key here, because if you tell yourself that I'm having 10 slices of bread, 8 slices of bread with margarine and marmalade, then by gosh, you should be able to count those calories and actually determine that there's a fair exchange, that the calories that are going in are the same calories that can come out. Or in the case of where you're overweight, you need to be able to have the calories, a deficit of calories, meaning like you are expending more calories than you actually put in. And so that's what kind of creates weight loss, because you're expending more calories than you're putting in, and that is key. That is key. What time is it? Let us look at the time. 6:47. I gotta hustle. Get back by 7. That tradition of eating that bread, and I actually switched from butter and jam, margarine and jam. I switched from that. I switched to, oh goodness, I switched to peanut butter. Now, for those of you who know peanut butter, especially the commercial brands, they are very much loaded. They are very much loaded. Hydrogenated oils. These are oils that have undergo a chemical process or manufacturing process where they can maintain and preserve the peanut butter so it doesn't get spoiled, among other things. But the downside is that this is the fat that remains solid at room temperature. So now you think about it. If this fat remains solid at room temperature, what is it doing inside your body? That means it remains hard inside your arteries, and as such, this is how you start developing problems with your heart, hardened, clogged arteries from this kind of substance in your foods. It's a very bad form of saturated fat. So manufacturers put this stuff in their peanut butter in order to preserve it, sometimes give it taste, and etc, etc. They add sugar, they add salt, which are not naturally occurring in peanuts. So therefore, if you go in and buy a manufactured brand of peanut butter, not like the natural one, which is just nothing but peanuts and salt, you're actually exposing yourself to some things that are not necessarily that helpful for you, especially consumed in the big amounts the way I used to consume it. Again, I repeat, especially if consumed in the large amounts the way I used to consume it. So this is how and why I said to you that owing to combination of white bread plus copious amounts of peanut butter plus copious amounts of jam, which has a lot of sugar in it and less fruit than you think, it becomes a time bomb. It tastes good, you know, and you add on your tea, which has regular fat milk plus sugar, then you have a calorie bomb. You have something that is heavy with calories, and you're not eating other fibrous foods to be able to flush down all this stuff. And so what you're essentially eating is just lots of high sugar, high fat content that is not going to end up anywhere other than around your midsection, around your thighs, under your arm, your chest, neck, you name it, you get. So once I switched away from eating those kinds of foods and started getting active, is where and how I was able to find success in reducing the weight considerably. Because when you eat without proportions of saying the healthy portion of vegetables, healthy portions of fiber, and grains, then your body starts absorbing these extra calories and depositing them as fat. So what's the moral of the story? Moral of the story is this, that you need to consume more of vegetables, more of greens, more if your plate was a pie chart, if your plate was a pie chart, you would need to consume 65% of what's on the plate should be greens. Then you have maybe 20% in lean protein. I'm talking about chicken, fish. Unfortunately, I stay away from red meat, like beef and so on and so forth, because it's a particular choice. If you can consume that without having problems, then that's okay. That's okay, because it's a particular choice for me. For me, I say I can't consume red meat because it's a particular choice. I prefer fish and chicken. So 25% in lean protein, and then the rest, which 25 and 65 is what? Isn't that 90? That's like 90, sindio? So you can consume sparingly that 10% in fats, but good fats. So what are good fats? In this case, the particular good fats that I'm referring to are fats like the unsaturated fats you find in natural peanut butter. When you take peanuts, grind them up with a bit of salt, like normal peanuts without any added molecules, you get the natural fats, you know, natural fats, things like olive oil, olive oil. Also, that's good for you, but only consume a little bit of it. Now, there's also good cheeses like mozzarella. Mozzarella is good, and then also proportionality. You can have a bit of Swiss cheese or pepper jack or cheddar, but again, very small portions, you know, because the body also could use a decent percentage, small percentage of healthy fats, because you need that balance. So now that's your plate. That's your plate. So once I started switching to that, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, and still to this day, I occasionally break down, Mr. Weakness. I break down and say, I've been working out 6 days. Oh goodness, I deserve a treat. And my treat is a nice good sandwich of PB&J, which is peanut butter and jelly, and on whole wheat this time. That's important. White bread, empty calories, no good. Whole wheat. But in our countries, I think you guys call it brown bread, but whole wheat bread is what you want. and then a bit of natural peanut butter. Instead of like jelly, you can use a little bit of honey, or better still, you can just cut up some bananas and use those. So anyway, long story short, that's how you get to lose the weight. Be active, eat healthy, expend more calories than you put in. So if you eat less calories than you actually expend, that's how you're able to lose that weight. So that's the moral of the story. Anyway, Wakawaka, continue working, continue praying for our people, continue praying for the people who are suffering under the yoke of COVID, India, Brazil, other areas around the world, and be safe. The scourge is still around. We urge you, please be safe. Sanitize, mask up, social distance, and please be safe. God bless you, God keep you, be well. We'll see you next episode of Wakawaka. Stay well, Africa Health Series. So Diata, be well, God bless. Sons of daughters, mothers of dads. So actually this is a quick addendum. That point where I signed off, that was not the end of it. By then I only ended up having done only 2.5, so I had to go back with the same pack and jog and make 1.5. So not completely jog, but at least a good 65% of it was a jog. So rest was like speed walking. But I was speed walking and then did a jog with it, and that ended up making the 1.5 miles. But I have to rest my hand here a bit. It's a bit anyway, yeah, that's the end of Wakawaka today. That's the true end. But we encourage you, again, Africans, Pan-Africans, Homo sapiens in general, to exercise. Just get out there, do some Wakawaka. These times, especially at times like this of COVID, it's very imperative. It's imperative that your system is well sort of tuned with healthy habits and healthy activities and the such, that your state of being is a healthy one, so that in case anything comes, it's not as profound on your system as it would be if you have encountered some sort of malady or something like that. And so we encourage you to keep out there, and just wrap up for the how do you gain weight and how do you lose it. When you eat more calories than you actually expend, you end up keeping those surplus calories as fat cells, and those collect around your buto brother. So it's imperative to eat healthy, consume less calories. By less calories, you find less calories in things like greens, vegetables, fruits, that kind of thing, which should constitute about 65% of your diet. 20% to 25%, or even 30% lean proteins, chicken, fish. That's what I prefer. Then you can have like nuts and legumes and that kind of thing. And then that really small 5%, which is fat, make it healthy fats like olive oil or other healthy fats. Peanuts, if you make peanut butter, make it out of just nothing but peanuts, dry peanuts, like dry roasted peanuts, and just a bit of salt, and that's it. And that's all you need. And you just take don't eat like I used to I used to consume copious amounts of that treasure. My precious. I used to consume copious amounts, but now you just reduce. You can have one PB&J sandwich a day, and don't make it jam, make it a bit of honey, or even better, slice up some bananas and put on there, and it's very proper. It will sort you, and then your cup. Instead of using like the way we used to do it, where we used to make chai molago with just milk, not even any water. That's not good, So just you can do half water, half milk, and then put in your fixings, you know, dalasine, tangawizi, chisubi, and all that good stuff. So that will flavor it. And then just if you have to have sugar, just have a small, but sometimes it's better to consume without sugar. So that way you consume less calories and you expend more, and that way you'll see your weight coming down. You'll see your weight improving. You'll see your health improving. You'll see your sleep going good. You'll have an active, good life, you know, with this kind of health status. So, in wrap up, Waka Waka, get out there, do this relevant activity to those of those seniors. This is relevant. This is critical. This is introspective for our people in Africa. Olieta, we'll see you on the next episode of Waka Waka. We love you. God bless you. God keep you. Be safe. Sanitize. Mask up. Social distance. And we'll see you Olieta.
Time 5 minutes. Distance 0.16 miles. Average pace 30 minutes.